Welcome back with another Capital Truth, the untold story by dogs who found the future. And guys, I'm super duper excited. I'm always excited, but today I'm just a little extra excited because I have a really interesting dude over here. A good friend of mine, we met fairly recently, but immediately we connected, right? And interestingly enough, he's from New York as well, which I didn't know. He's from New York. He lives in Utah right now. He is a brilliant guy. Danny from Virtuoso. My man, listen, I appreciate you. I know you in Hawaii right now, enjoying the sunshine, and you're gonna go see the volcano in a bit. And you're making time for me, for us to really share your experience and your lessons, what you learn, throughout the years of being an entrepreneur. So thank you so much, Jenny, for doing this for us. Thank you,
You're
appreciate it.
very welcome. Thanks for having me.
So let's get into it, man, because I don't want you to miss the volcano. So
Not going today. I got plenty of time, and you're going to need a lot more than just an hour here, I think, for me to share
good,
the whole story. But
good, man. So how do you usually like introduce yourself?
that's interesting. Hi, I'm Danny. It's usually a pretty good way to do it. Or what's your name?
Do
No,
you
I don't know. I don't really have a plan on that one. I just honestly, I mean, I'm kind of I guess you could say a bit of a networker, and I'll talk to anybody, everybody. So every single person around me is liable to get helloed. Yeah, so I don't know. It's different all the time.
Where do you feel like that personality, because you have a quiet personality, like you said, you're not afraid to talk to anyone about anything and everything, and which is
Everything.
a real asset, right? Especially in the business you are in. So I was saying, like, your true superpower, it's you can talk to anyone and everyone, right? And I know it's a great asset, in what you do, right? Being able to connect with people and have those tough conversations sometimes. Were you always like this, or where did that superpower come from?
So that kind of a funny one. I always like this, not very good at it. If that makes more sense. Back when I was a kid, I'm on the spectrum.
Hmm.
I was awkward. I was, whatever. Growing up, I went through, a lot of different stuff. Um, we could dive really deep, but yeah, no, I went to school for this. Essentially, I went to school for learning about myself and learning about other people and how to communicate and all of that. And then when I was, I don't know, I grew up with my grandparents, with older people. Um, went on a lot of trips with them. Was expected to behave. You know, I
Hmm.
think that helps, right? I'm not very good at behaving, but anyways, I was expected to and respect people, and yeah, I went to you know their friends' houses that were in their 60s, 70s, 80s all the
Hmm.
time, that were very well-to-do people, and dinner parties, and the adults were having drinks, and I was expected not to break things. So,
And I love you saying it. My son actually is on the spectrum as well, and there's certainly a lot more awareness right now, right? Like among people and among the community, and there's a lot more resources now for people. So I know it's challenging, must be challenging for you and your parents, but it sounds like you took it for what it is, and you really turn it more into an asset versus like a
work in
liability,
progress. Yeah, I'd say a work in progress. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's communication skills, being able to talk to people, being able to talk to anybody, being willing to. I had my son say hi to the girls all the time. That was, my trick to making sure he wasn't uncomfortable speaking to him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's screaming out the car window yesterday at Home Depot saying hi to somebody walking by. Yeah, so I think I created a monster, but he still doesn't know how to communicate with people. He's on the spectrum, and he's learning. He's always trying to kind of control everybody, and that's not really the way to be.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I can kind of drive conversations places, but yeah, no, I just try to be friendly and just try to add value to everybody. That's my whole goal. Everywhere I go, all the time, is just to add value. So if I meet somebody and they're like they have this problem or whatever it is, or they say this, or I just communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I can add value in some way, somebody says, "Oh yeah, I'm working on a website or I got whatever," I'm like, "Oh, I know somebody." And so I'll text them, "Hey, do I have your permission to share your contact information with so and so? They want to do a website. I met them here, whatever, like things like that, like meet somebody, they wrote a book. I'm like, oh, I know somebody that publishes books. They can help you with the marketing and everything else. So then I refer them over there to that person, and that's it. And that's all I do most of the time. Um, but I trade numbers with almost every single person I meet, like 90%.
And that's incredible, right? Because I think in today's day and age, right, the digital world, and we'll talk about it a little bit too. But I think people, they almost afraid of speaking to people and exchanging like a personal information, right? Like, what's your view on that? What's your opinion on that?
Well, this is where the scary stuff lies. Is actually out here on the internet, right? In person, at least, I can get a more of a vibe from somebody, right? Like eye contact, very helpful. um, which is tough for people like me. I had to learn that. I had to teach myself those skills.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in person, I feel like I can get a better idea of who people are, or at least who they are right now at this moment in time, right? But I tend to go a little deeper with people, sometimes uncomfortably. That's maybe part of that spectrum thing. I don't know. But yeah, I tend to do that, and then I don't know. I make friends. Sometimes. Sometimes I don't know. I feel like I should talk. Sometimes I feel like I should listen. I don't. I probably talk way too much.
Yeah, with my boy, it's interesting you saying it. He's the same way. And when we find out that he was on the spectrum, and he was about 14 months, he was less than a year and a half, right? And the lady basically told us he was nonverbal, and she said, he probably never gonna speak, right? And now he's speaking and he's talking, and I'm like, oh my god, like stop, please, like try to process what people tell you, give yourself some time to kind of think about it, assess it, and then like decide if it's good or bad, or what you want to do about it. But there's so much similarities, right? But it's really, I think, it's playing to your strength, right? Not necessarily, like, no one's perfect, right? We all have some strengths and weaknesses. But it amazes me that you are a really really accomplished man. What you've done in a really short period of time, it's pretty incredible, with the challenges you've been facing to begin with. So, Danny, what is something what people can tell about you or don't know about you at the first glance when they meet you?
Uh, that's a great question. Um, what that thing that's kind of impossible for people to know, like who they're talking to, because I would do anything for anybody, right? Like to help people, and people don't know that. When you first meet this random stranger at the bar, or the restaurant or the aisle in Walmart or something like that, like it's like I could be your friend. You
Hmm.
know? Like I can help you. Like you know, I don't know. I just like conversations. Like how do you know who people are when you first meet them, right? Like what? So like, what can they tell about me or whatever? I don't know. Friendly.
And I
Um,
think you're right because I'm thinking like how I see and feel about people sometimes, and a lot of it has to do like when we kids and we growing up, it's kind of like you don't have those walls or those blockages, right? And when we get older, it's almost like we assume a lot. We see someone and we're like, we put the person into like a certain box, right? Because we think it's just easier that way. Besides like getting deeper and kind of discovering really who the person is. Like when we met first time, the very first time, and you dressed up a little differently today, but when we met the very first time, if I may be truthful with you, I was like, yo, who the hell is this guy? You get the hat on, you were like little, you were looking like a
Come here, come here, come say hi.
little
So
hippie.
here's a prime example here. So
Oh, greetings, sir.
Hey,
this
how are you?
new
Again, same
friend,
name.
yeah, that we met at the bar the other night. So this was actually a conversation about meeting random people,
Yeah.
and making friends. So here's one right here.
Greetings. Have a good
Nice
day.
to meet you. I hope you enjoy the beautiful Hawaii over there.
What do you say?
He said, "I hope you enjoy beautiful Hawaii over
Oh
there."
yeah. Oh, it's awful here. It's awful. It's awful.
Good, good.
Hey, take care. Appreciate you.
So yeah, you see. So I mean, when we met, like I didn't know, who you are, like really who you are as a person, right? Because I think we tend to have so many so many assumptions in our minds, through our past life, right? How we live and people we met, and what we see on the TV and what we've been told by our parents and our families and our teachers and everything, right? We do assume a lot about people and about circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta laugh because I don't believe in coincidence, and that's hilarious. That's the question. Like you just asked, and then somebody that I just met 2 days ago at the bar over here. Like, I mean, of course, I might have talked to quite a few people, but there were some people up there that didn't want to talk to me. That was obvious. But this guy, remember my name? I can't remember his name. That's the horrible thing of being ADHD and spectrum over here. Is I'm like, oh shoot, like I'm thinking I wanted to introduce him by name. Boy, that's tough. That's always a tough one for me. I have to repeat it over and over in my head, and it has to be relevant. Like it has to
Mm-hmm.
for me to remember it again, and I should remember everybody's names. But you said assume, and I always remember the assume makes an ass out of you and me, and that one sticks out in my head all the time. And there's another movie where assumption is the mother of all f ups, and it's true.
No,
I try.
it's true, man. It is so true. And you never know what you didn't know till you know, and then right? Like people change too, by the way. Like, that's the beauty. It's never too late to kind of change things around, right?
Yeah, whatever you were yesterday doesn't it doesn't have to be you today, and or it can be. I mean, if you're happy with the guy you were yesterday, then by all means be that guy today, but you don't have to be, And yeah, I'm not. I feel like I'm not defined by whatever my action. Well, you can be depending on if it's your children, your wife, and things like that. But like the person maybe in a conversation I didn't get that point across, or that didn't land very well, or maybe here at this moment I should have listened. It's like I'll do better next time. You know, but yes, you are definitely liable for what you say when you're a father.
Hmm.
Every little moment right there counts. But
Yeah.
everybody else, it's kind of like fair game. I mean, you meet some random person on the street, have at it. Try something out. I've tried it all. I could strike up a conversation at Costco and thinking this lady, very sweet lady, very intelligent. We're talking about generators, And I had a little bit of information about it. I have 80 solar panels on my roof, and we looked into generators and backup stuff, and
Mhm.
strike up a conversation. And yeah, it goes really deep. I'll go like really deep with people and like really spiritual and like make people think. And by the end of it, I'm pretty sure she's like, I don't know what just happened. Was that a crazy person? Like it's something like that. You know.
Yeah, and I think I don't think so, because like me growing up in Europe, like everybody kind of knew each other, right? So you can walk on the street and just have conversation, with the people living in the community. So it was a lot safer, right? Where you don't have to be afraid to kind of share, certain information with someone, and that someone can kind of use the information against you. And then, when I moved to New York, it's like a complete opposite animal, right? New York City, not necessarily upstate New York, but in New York City, like no one, can really talk to you, because number one, they're busy, they don't have the time, they spinning their wheels so they can pay the bills, right? But on the other hand, they're almost afraid to speak to you, because they're afraid that you're gonna rob them, you're gonna use their information, you're gonna sue them. Like, it's just becoming so hard just to be human, right? And now when I moved to Canada, I have conversation with people all the time. My neighbors. I know a lot of the neighbors. Probably I know more of the neighbors than the neighbors know themselves. I know this guy lives here for 25 years. He put a steel roof on the thing. Last year. His kids, they live in Hamilton and Toronto. Like, I know everything about him, right? And it's all because of, like, we were passing by and I saw he was trying to grow his grass and he put some seeds on top of the soil. I said, "Well, how is they going with the grass?" I'm like, "You got to put my soil on it." Looks like, yeah, yeah. And we started to talk about that, something completely irrelevant, but it lead me to actually have a conversation with him. And why I wanted to have a conversation with him? Because he has the nicest house on the block. It's facing the thing, right? And he said, I've been here for 25 years, I'm probably not gonna move, and then when we were ending it after like 15 minutes, I'm like, well, listen, if you decide to move down to Florida, like, I will buy the house from you, like, in a joking way,
Right.
right? But that's my hook. That's my hook right there,
Yeah.
right? So I think it's sad to see, yet it's great to see that people don't have as many just conversations, like,
Without expectations.
without expectations. Just, I think that curiosity part, right? I think you really got to be curious, like deep inside, not have like an agenda that you do to hijack, the guy and steer him away to sell him your product. I mean, we all have done that to certain point in our lives, right?
The only
But
thing
when you
selling is me. That's it. I'm never selling a product. There's never anything. It's just, hey, nice to know you. The gentleman that was here is from Albuquerque, here with his family. I live in southern Utah. That's it. But like, here's my number. Let's get to know each other. Hey, I'm
That's
always
it.
here's who I am. Here's my card, right? And I do follow back with people. But yeah, like so there's a guy, private equity guy I met in the pool the other day.
Hmm.
He had his little daughter. She was kind of swimming around with her floaty, and we started talking about a lot of stuff, a lot of synergies there. With him, I had sent him. I'm trying to think, I sent him something else, but I had sent him that the flea market thing goes on around the arena here
Hmm.
on Oahu, at Honolulu there. And I said, if you're out and about today looking for something to do with the family, this is pretty cool. We come every year. That was it. So that's value, right? You know, it's not like, hey, can I sell you something on vacation? Certainly not that. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but I'd like to know him. He was a really nice guy.
And I think it really it makes your life better, right? I think when you're having those conversation and experience and connection with people, like in real time, in real life, it makes your life better.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know
I'm a weirdo because I actually do want to be friends with everybody. There's some people over here that are like, I came here not to talk to anybody, and here's this, yeah, it's great.
That's awesome, though. So, I mean, tell me, Danny, what is something you're working on right now, which is really like lighting you up, which you are super excited about?
Quite a lot of things. I have a lot of irons in the fire, but I co-founded Virtuoso.live. When I got involved, there was just somebody like that garage story, the Microsoft story, all the big tech stories, right? Like this person's working in their garage, they're just working away, working away, working away, and then all of a sudden becomes something huge, right? It's basically that story, and it's on its way. And there's a lot of big things happening with it. But yeah, my partner Brandon patented basically the metaverse. And those are big words. And our card says the future of the internet.
Mhm.
And I told him, when we were putting that stuff together, I said, you know what, I love it because it's bold, and that's the way you kind of have to be. And but yeah, we have a live streaming social media platform, and we're in some pretty big talks with some pretty big players. And we have multiple castle projects in multiple countries that we're working on as well. So we've done presentations for some major auto brands, and without putting any names to anything there, but yeah, a lot of big things in the works. And big artists. My partner works with a lot of the big artists that are out there. He's working on. I think I can say it. Maybe he's working for a couple different major artists right now, working on their stages, and then we're in talks to do some festivals and some other big stuff. So, what better reason to be the place to be than music and sports? And our patent is live events. So, that means streaming any live event into a virtual world. And so, yeah, what better than putting the stage in your backyard or on your coffee table and inviting your friends over in augmented reality?
So you just pop in the glasses and
Yeah, but it's not just that. I mean, we're on every platform. We have a downloadable platform for a computer. We have the live streaming, web live streaming, and then we also have iPhone, which is in test flight right now, Android, which is downloadable, but we're aiming for all of it, and then we're kind of holding back the AR and VR just to get this out there first. The MVP is out. This is 10 years in the making, and this is one person
mm,
putting everything into it and building this thing. And actually, in 2017, my partner. So my partner had patented live events into a virtual world, and then started creating it. Started hiring outside developers. Put together his first pitch deck. Gosh, probably 8 years ago or something like that. And everything that was on his first pitch deck, he did, paid for $250,000 he needed. He funded that whole thing himself. Did another pitch deck.
mhm.
Everything he put on there, he funded himself. Hired all the people he needed to do it. Went out and earned all the money to do it himself. Did another pitch deck. He did that 4 times before I met him, and talked in front of a whole bunch of VC, a whole bunch of tech people, told him what he was building, and all they did was steal the ideas from him. That's pretty horrible, but it's a tough world out there, and everybody, a lot of sharks, right?
Yeah,
Not everybody though. I don't think everybody's sharks, but there's certainly a lot of them.
most people,
Yeah,
unfortunately. And you said so he worked on it for 8 years.
ten
That's
years, over 10 years.
10 years. That's
Yeah,
crazy. So I mean,
yeah,
and it's funny, right? Because now we kind of know about virtual reality, but we don't know it's been around for
yeah.
so long. You know?
Yeah, 10 years ago, I think the glasses had just come out. That was his story really to tell. I don't want to, give too much of it away, but I know that he, you know, there was a little button or tab or whatever it was inside of Unreal Engine to see what it looked like in virtual reality, and that's when he got the idea. And that's when he, started the patent process, did all that kind of stuff, and then that was 2017. 2018, he was issued, but
he had the idea back in, I think it was 2014. He had done the Barbarella stage in Dominican Republic.
Hmm.
He was tasked with designing the stage, and he was pretty young. He's only 29 now. Tasked with designing the stage, and then they built it in real life. So he built it virtually, and then here was his creation in real life. And I think it was right around that time that that he could see what it looked like in virtual reality and went, "That's what I'm going to do," and just vision, and then just went forward with it. So yeah, pretty amazing stuff. But
And I mean, I know, being visionary, right? It's really seeing things what other people don't see,
oh yeah,
right? And not only that, but really bringing it to life into a reality at the same time.
yeah, and what better visual thing than like virtual reality or augmented reality today? But like to see your creation from every angle, you know. I mean, it's just like molding clay in front of you, but digitally. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty amazing. I'm not the techie guy. In fact, I'm always stumbling over it, trying to figure it out. But yeah, no, but he is. I mean, he went out and bought a Apple computer just to build the apps for the Apple, and they were, he merged it from here to there in like a few days. There's like a working model. I'm like, how in the world did you do that? I would still be reading the instructions.
It's crazy. And I mean,
Yeah.
and how did you get like involved? How did you stumble upon it? What was interesting to you that you guys partner up with it?
Okay, so that is an interesting story, and I will try to tell it in order. And I hope I have enough time here. No, I'm just kidding. I It really kind of goes back 10 years, when I first, started doing, the angel investing kind of more professionally, right? And I, was contacted. Okay, so I got to back up a little further.
What's the,
Anyways, I
what's the, what's
did.
Danny, what's the angel investing? So I know some of the viewers they probably
Sure.
don't know what angel investing is.
Just investing in early stage things, investing in risky assets. I'll call them. You go to the stock market, you go buy a stock, and you really have no control over it. You buy this stock because you think it's a great product and you think it's going to go up, and whatever, and it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, and like that's it. Well, angel investing would be, say, a startup company contacted me. They're looking for startup capital, and you just have no idea what's going to happen.
Mhm.
It's kind of wild west a little bit. But I invested in oil and gas stuff. I get contacted about movies. I'm invested in a gold mine in Nevada. That's been a few years in the making. And so, like I said, I have to back it up here. So there was a company, ROM Technologies. I'll give the name here. But I had invested in them at the time. They were ROM 3, and I gave them some ideas to improve their product. That was 8.5 years ago. They raised $160 million after me.
Mhm.
I think I can say all that, and then I won't say too much more because I have NDAs. But anyways, but yeah, that's an example. I invested in something; it turned out to be something great. And Virtuoso is one of those type of things. Except for years later down the road, I was tired of just investing in things and hoping I made a good investment,
Mhm.
hoping that I put my money in the right place with the right people that have my best interest in mind and not theirs, right? And so, fast forward, I decided, and when you said fairly recently earlier, I decided, I think it was April, 2 Aprils ago, right? That I was going to start working with companies. I was going to get closer, right? Sit at the table, and I had a lot of experience being pitched all these different deals, and there were a couple scams, a couple capital raise type things where. They're just raising money. That's their whole thing, was just taking people's money, not caring if you ever made a dime. And it, but out of this and some successes and some failures, and just a lot of perspective. And I knew I could help, and I wanted to change the game. There was a, the scammers out there. That's my whole problem. And so, anyways, I sat in my friend's office, told him I was going to start doing this. Got a phone call from somebody. That guy works for me now. He was raising capital for a scam, as a matter of fact. Works for me for a startup that had a $100 million exit previously with another application of their product. I felt like it was a really good, company to invest in. I put some money in it. My stepfather has a little bit in it, and I put a very good friend of mine who's now passed away. He's in it, but I had also embedded a capital raiser at that startup, and this was a year ago. So I started in April. By June, I was the director of investor relations for a startup. By June, I had co-founded Virtuoso. So, that's how fast things move. And then I got into Fund Launch to learn about funds. Now, I don't know if people know about Fund Launch here, but yeah, so figured out that the VC private equity thing made sense. I couldn't just be an angel investor anymore, where I'm just throwing money into the wind, just hoping that it sticks on something, right? I was tired of that, and I really was tired of the people out there that are taking advantage of people, and I got taken advantage of, and I was like, I'm gonna change the whole game. That's it, done. So yeah. So I got involved with Brandon with Virtuoso to help him. And that's just that's one direction. But I work with AI companies, VR companies, fund managers. It's like I just want to help everybody. So I'm working on that one right now. So if I can figure out a way to bring investors together that want to just have a conversation, have a Zoom meeting, meet some of my friends. It's out there. There's some good people doing really good things and some really big things. And yeah, we can all do well on that. But you need a network. You need friends. You need trust and relationships. And I'm tired of doing it the other way. Like I get a lot of phone calls. I hate to educate scammers, right? But anyways, I get
And
a lot of
they're
phone
calling
calls.
you, they're trying to sell you something.
They're trying to sell me something.
Yeah.
They have the best thing since sliced bread. The person who's calling me is likely a paycheck to paycheck person who just wants to get as much money from me as possible. Doesn't even care what he's selling on the other side. It isn't, and they're trained to do this. Not his problem if you invest your money. Okay, not his problem. He's not making your investment decisions for you, right? That's wrong. Like it is your problem if you are taking somebody's money and you don't care what happens to it. You're definitely not their friend. You're their foe. And if you think you got the best thing since sliced bread, the reality is that there's risk in everything, and that you should diversify. Well, yeah, obviously, educated investors know that, right? But like there was a time where I was up and coming, or trying to figure it out, or wanted to do something that mattered. Like I could invest in stocks and walk away. I could, start some little business, idea, entrepreneurial, right, forever.
Mhm.
But there's somebody helping somebody else out there accomplish their goals. When I tapped into that one, that's when the magic really started happening, because like ideas don't matter, action matters. So helping other people figure it out, right? Like we can all work together if we all put our skill sets together and we helped each other. We could all go far. It's the other people out there that aren't trying to help anybody but themselves, right? That's the problem. We need to switch
It's
that around.
like, there was a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, you got to go with the people, you know.
Yeah, yeah. We need to help each other. We all add value. We all have something to
Something
offer the world.
to the table. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think so bring us back a little bit, right? Because it sounds good, you angel investor, and you probably had a really rich parents, and you you had that chance to kind of invest the money into different things, and some things worked out and some things didn't. But
Yeah.
how did you get to that point when you even could invest into others' businesses and other ventures as well?
Um. Okay. Longer story, but no. I started off. I love this. I had a girlfriend's dad that told me once I was a lucky sperm. So I've gone with the lucky sperm answer to that one for a really long time. But it also took a lot of people dying. My mother died when I was 14. She was, the daughter, right? And so skipped a generation there, and then I took care of my grandparents for a really long time until my grandmother was 98 years old. My grandfather was 89 when he passed away, and um, but I skipped a generation in there. They had done very well, early investors in IBM. I believe was it Intel also, and came from like Endicott, Enwell, New York, where IBM started, and they would just invest in IBM, and that was the thing, $5 a share or $500 a share. They bought IBM stock, and but yeah, so a lucky sperm. I was the only child of an only child. I made money the old-fashioned way. I don't know. Maybe that's something else. But yeah, no. That's what gave me a start. But I'll tell you what it didn't give me was any kind of satisfaction. Like I had done something,
Mhm.
right? I had inherited some money, but I had learned my entire life like how hard that was to get because I had gone out there and tried to make it too, and but yeah, so that's the truth. But I had a responsibility to them, right? And I knew that someday I was going to have a kid, right? And I had a responsibility
To the
to
kid, yeah.
him,
Yep.
right? And then because it's generational, I have a responsibility to make sure his kids get it. And I think I've done a pretty good job of all of the above over there, protecting that life insurance and investments and teams of people that handle everything. I'm switching right now from one company to another for that, but I'm following somebody that was on my team previously that changed companies, and so I'm working with them, and then
You mean like a
obviously I work with people like you.
you mean like a financial advisor or something like that?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
now switching companies from Wells Fargo, getting rid of Wells Fargo and going to Baird Wealth Management. So there's a little plug for Baird.
Sorry,
I have a
Wells. It
Yeah,
was
sorry,
great meeting
Wells.
you.
They're
Bye.
they're too big, too institutional to
Yeah.
really provide any value. And then that's where like emerging fund managers like myself, like you, like
Mhm.
other people we know, um, there's a huge opportunity there because they're not institutional, right? Like these guys don't care about you. They care about your money, right? Yeah, of course, emerging fund managers could use people's money
Mhm.
to accomplish things, right? But you have much more personal access to real people that haven't made it over here to
And
where
to the
they,
information,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Through the
yeah,
information through the people to
yeah.
really
What do you
be
want to
able
know?
to
What do you want to
assess
learn?
if the deal makes sense or not, or if it's just whatever. Which is so
Right.
true. I think Dustin said it. He said, when you speak to someone and they say they have a financial advisor, like ask the financial advisor if he knows what your money is actually invest into.
Yeah.
And most of them have no clue whatsoever. No clue.
Yeah, when you get to a certain level, I'm not at I'm not at that level yet,
Mhm.
but I do okay, right? What is okay for one is maybe a lot for another, or whatever the case is. But I invest every dollar I can, into everything I can, and I diversify, diversify, diversify.
Mhm.
So, I'm in real estate, in stocks, in gold, in silver, I mean, you name it, I invest in it, and more. Companies, private equity funds, yeah, GP stuff with other funds like yours and what have you. I mean, I think that's where we all can come together, and we all should be helping each other, and that's it. Like there's the answer. You want the answer?
Mhm.
There's the secret. there's the whole thing. That's when we become stronger, and that's it. Like everybody's out there that's what's the word for it? One man army, one gunning it here. I don't know, whatever you want
No,
to call
you
it. There,
can. No, you
yeah,
can go far all by
yeah.
yourself. It's impossible. You
You
just
can
got it.
go so far, but you're going to hit a wall. Just like in a conversation when, when you walk up to somebody on the street in New York City, they have their wall up, right? They're trying not to look you in the eye because you could be dangerous, right? How do they know if you're friend or foe? It's the same thing here. It's like, how do you know that somebody is
For
friend?
real. Yeah.
Yeah, you just don't know till you know. And then how do you know from there? You still don't know. Somebody says my intentions are this. Let me prove it, right? Let me keep showing you on an ongoing basis that I'm over here doing everything I can to make this work. I can deal with failure, but what I can't deal with is fraud. That is the big thing that the only reason I haven't started a venture capital fund yet is because I'm not the fund manager, right? So I've been offered to do a fund of funds. Somebody wants to do that. I'm like, but I have companies that I'm working with right now, and huge opportunities right here that I need to deal with first, and the fund to funds model is definitely there, and certainly know enough fund managers that I would invest in, and also help, right? Like not just I'm way past investing in things and walking away anymore. It's like I want to be involved, right? I want to be in the meeting, sitting at the table. I want to know all the information, right? And I feel like that's what everybody should want to know, and that's what's missing, right? Like, so if you invest with your bank, you give them the money, like Wells Fargo, I'm using them here, and you got their wealth management thing. They get their recommended funds, and you and everybody else all make the same amount of money, right? Everybody makes their, hopefully beat the S&P number
Everybody's a
here.
winner, right?
That's
No
it.
losers.
Yeah, but you lose with everybody else too, just the
Yeah.
same. Like, oh, everybody lost. It's okay. It's okay because my neighbor lost money too. I mean, we all lost money. Every one of their clients lost money together. Yeah, no, I'm not okay with that. So that's one basket. Okay. So put some money over there, put some money over here, over there, and over there. That's the answer. It always has been. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And as far as I'm concerned, if you have a 401k, that's one basket, right? You got your, you know, business or whatever. You just need to diversify it. It doesn't really matter. But there are you, potentials. That's what everything is potentialities, right? Everything is a potential. And so there is no sure thing.
And I
That's it.
think, Danny, if I may, successful people, people which are doing well, they they need help because they need to get their time back, right? They
We
have
all need help.
when they're growing, they have there's certain positions within your firm and your company, right? Which you've been doing, and now you need to do a different role, right? Maybe you were a business owner, and now you're looking to, bring in investors. You're looking to scale now. Well, you cannot be still the owner. You cannot be the operator now, right? So now you got to get different operators to sort of replace yourself. So people which are doing well, and I tell this to young people. I said, someone reached out to me yesterday, and he said, he's working, he has a really good job, he's making a good salary, and he wants to start investing into real estate. I'm meeting him tomorrow. And my suggestion to you young people, people which they want to go after something, right, and be a successful, find someone who's already doing what you want to do and just work for him for free. Just be the intern, shadow him. And you know what? Because they need help. I just said it. They
Yeah.
need help, right? And if you're gonna be the person who will help them, don't look for the salary. Like
It's
that thing
there.
is just it's short-sighted thing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
We all need it some point in the life, but look for that knowledge and the guidance and that relationship. And
Yeah.
sooner or later, like the page is gonna turn, and the person's gonna say, "Well, you are great. Why don't I give you a partnership over here and get you signed up?" And now you're running the show, and you could save up. You could save up like 20 years. Like if I would go
Oh
back,
yeah.
that's exactly what I would do. I wouldn't like I run real estate sales. I was the top agent. I was the team leader. I was the coach. I opened up my brokerage. I run a marketing firm from the ground up, right? Everything from the ground up because I wanted to build that thing. Investment firm and all of that. Now looking back, no, I should find the investors and I would be like, hey, listen, I want to be your intern and I want to be your bitch. No matter what you want me to do, I, I'll do it. Just let me know. I'll run through the wall. That's it. And I guarantee you, probably in within 5 years or less, maybe 3 years or less, I will be probably further than I am right now
Oh,
in 20 years.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I have that same situation right now. In fact, I just posted on Facebook to my friends. I'm like, looking for, it's funny that you bring that up. Entrepreneurs, right? I'm like, I go, I can't afford to pay you right now, but I hope that's coming sooner than later. But if you want to get involved and, you have a skill set that we may be able to work together with, like, I mean, I have such huge opportunities that it's not funny. And, I mean, and that is to help
You know,
raise
you know what?
capital
You know
for,
what's crazy, bro?
startups and fund managers is one of them. So,
You know what's crazy? It's unbelievable. Actually, I think I might have somebody for you.
really.
Yep.
I
So
just
my
I need somebody to just help me
project
be able to delegate and be able to like just
that
go, yeah.
project management. So
Yeah.
my sister-in-law, she's a project manager, and she's been for years for tech company.
Okay.
Okay, managing projects and flow and people and stuff like that. And I had a conversation with her a couple weeks ago in Quebec when she was telling me she wants to start up an AI company and build apps and whatever. I said,
Oh,
no,
I got a couple of them.
I said, I don't think you should do that. I think, you should find the Moby Dick. I think you should find someone who's already doing a great things, and you just bring your skill to it, right? And you take it to the next level together. That's it. You don't have to be the one.
If she likes AI, I have one. I mean, I have
She just
a
texted me.
point of sale system and an advertising solution for businesses that I'm in the talks with right now. Potentially co-found that and everything else. So there's an awesome opportunity.
She texted me today.
Yeah,
She's like, "Hello, hello. I hope you're doing well. Ericado, you talk about the interaction, pa pa pa. I would love to explore that opportunity.
yeah, I'd love to talk to her.
If you have someone, a few people in mind that I should connect with, please let me know."
That's awesome. See
I
that
mean,
and yeah, and you know what's funny is that's actually the best way to do it. How it works, I should say, and what have you, is an introduction.
yep,
A friend of a friend. Something like that. It holds so much more water.
that's right.
You walk up to somebody on the street and you're like, hey.
Do you
I
want to
got
get
the best
married?
thing going. You should, let's talk. Whatever. That's like really difficult. Or hey, what's your skill set? Oh, you do marketing, whatever. Oh, you know what? I need some help in that area. Like it just doesn't work so much. You gotta, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's nicer to have like the friend. But yeah, I need like a personal assistant, just somebody like that I can just go, hey. I got this thing I need to do right now, and I don't really know where to go next with it. I have this, like I just needed to come up with these emails for this pilot thing. I'm also working with Ty Lopez's team right now.
On
I
the
just,
marketing side, or maybe
yeah,
on
on
the
a
talent
sales
side?
funnel side, yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta, so I talked to Ty the other day. I've had two meetings with Ty, and he sent me a personal message yesterday. I feel honored.
Nice.
But yeah, to
I was
do like
playing
a
back in
sales
the
funnel.
days. I don't see him no more on the social. Like few
Really?
years ago, he was like blowing my social media. He was
Oh, he's
crazy.
blowing mine up right now. He's gonna blow yours up now because they're definitely listening. So,
What's up, Ty? Can blow
yeah,
my Instagram, please.
yeah. No, I mean he's a goat in that whole marketing stuff for social media, but that's paid ads, and the big thing is creating the content, being out there. It really, for me, I'm like I'm exposing myself,
That's
right?
it.
And I don't want to expose myself to well, I don't want to expose myself in public. But yeah, I don't want to expose myself to the scammers, to the predatory people, to the people out there that mean to do harm, right? But yeah, here my last name is on here, and people can probably figure out where I live, and I don't know. That part bothers me. But you know what? Maybe this is the lead in for me to go out there and just say, screw it, I'm gonna go tell the world who I am, and go from there. But yeah, that whole thing is sales funnel, paid ads, whatever. I'm not trying to sell anything.
Mm.
All I want is to have a Zoom call with somebody that and here's your advertisement right here. But anyways, to have a Zoom call with somebody and introduce some friends that are doing some really amazing stuff. I have some companies. I have companies I co-founded. I don't raise capital for that company yet. I can, I will, but we're talking to investment bankers and family offices right now, and there'll be that round. But influential investors, those are the only investors I'm looking for. Um, you know,
Why?
that's
Why is
it.
that? Why influential investors? Why is that important to you?
Because we are so early stage, like pre-revenue, and that really we need a team. So I'm looking for a team, right? Not just money, but the rest of. I'm looking for more people like me, right? More people like Brandon
Mhm.
that are doing everything every day to make it happen, right? Who I'm over here making the context, having the meetings, doing all the rest of that stuff to make it happen. Okay, and for that type of investor that does that, there's a huge opportunity here. But I haven't brought in any outside capital for this company. And same thing for this AI company I just mentioned. It's like, we can use that capital to do some stuff over there. That's a whole nother deal, right? But it's like, okay, well, maybe I'm on John's team here, and they're raising capital to do these real estate deals. My thought is just bring people together that are interested in looking at interesting stuff. Bring them on a Zoom with somebody like yourself, with somebody like me. Let's bring 50 people to that Zoom. 50 investors, okay? If you're an accredited investor, a qualified purchaser, if you know what those things mean, we have a network of fund managers, both emerging fund managers and successful multi-fund managers doing huge stuff. And then, like for me, I have startups, private equity, later stage stuff, early stage stuff, and everything in between. And there's like huge opportunity there. I can't help it. I'm like I have people that want to help raise capital for some of these deals. I'm where my head is at. I have the whole thing figured out. But it's like there's not enough time in the day. There's only one of me. That's my problem.
That
I
and
need
you
to bring
see, and
more.
that's what I'm saying. Like any successful people, just like you, they have that issue. It's not
Yeah,
capital. It's
yeah. I'm
not.
not alone.
Yeah.
No, no, it's not. I can go raise capital. That's not my problem. It's the team. If I don't have all the pieces put together correctly, then I'm not going to risk other people's money. So if I don't have all the players in the right places and all the puzzle pieces together in a clear picture, it's like right now when I said I'm not the fund manager, it's like because I'm not the day-to-day guy. I'm the guy that can go network. I'm the guy that can raise the capital. I'm the guy that can invest the capital. That's not none of those things are my problem, but I'm not the day-to-day guy, right? Like I have a lawyer and an accountant for a reason, you know. But yeah, I mean, there's somebody that is that person that can handle that. That's more organized. I'm
Did
an
you,
ENTP personality type, if you know
did
what
you,
that means.
did you
You're an
sit down with,
ENTP too?
yeah, did you sit down with Fun Lunch?
with just about every person on Fun Launch. Yes.
Okay.
Like yeah,
I mean,
quite a few of them. Yes.
fund launch in terms of like that they would actually invest into your fund.
I am in. Not to mention any names. I'm in some interesting talks with quite a few coaches in Fun Launch. Ideally, that's what happened. You know, like that somebody would just kind of take the reins on some of this. Let me do what I do best, and help them help
Yep.
me. Let's work together. You
Yep.
know, like
Yep.
you're. I know you're in the process of putting together your fund. My side it is like the compliance, the admin, the other stuff over here, and I want somebody just to take that ball.
That's it. Yeah. I mean,
You
you know
know,
what?
yeah,
You don't want to spend 10 years becoming a great fund manager, right?
it's ridiculous. Yeah, no,
You really want
no,
to do
I
what you're
should do
great
what I
at
do
now.
best.
Yeah.
I should do what I do best. You know, you should do what you do best. You should do what you want to do. I should do what I want to do. If that guy likes to do that stuff, like there's somebody who likes to do numbers. You know, I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that likes to go talk to people and network and find opportunities, find the deals, look at the deals, analyze the people, right? Like that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. You know, like I'm not the guy that should be in the back office. You know, I should be right up front.
Printing the K1s and making sure they go out on time, you know?
That better happen though. That better happen. You know, like I'm the guy that, you know, if I got to worry about that stuff, then I yeah, I'm just that's a waste of valuable energy and time. You know.
Ah, my battery almost died. But what's great though, that you know what you're great at,
Yeah.
and you know what you're not so great at too, which is that's important because like when we young and we ambitious, like we think we can do everything, right? Like we're ready to
No.
conquer the world, but you know about yourself that you have certain abilities and capacities and disabilities, and you can't win all the battles,
No. No.
right?
You
But
can't.
you
You
keep
can't.
winning the
You
battles.
can't wear all the hats well. You know, and you can't stack them on top of each other and expect them all to fit and not fall off. You know, they're gonna get up there. Yeah, no, I mean, and it's possible. Could I be the business guy? Could I be the accountant guy? Could I be the day-to-day guy? Yeah, I could be. Okay, I could wear all hats, not my problem. But like the email things I was mentioning earlier, right?
Mhm.
It's like I can do that, but I'm trying to find people that I can count on that can help me do that because then I can go, okay, that's done, right? And yeah, I mean that's really it's so hard like to build a team, you
No,
know,
it's the
and
hardest, man.
oh
That is the
gosh,
hardest, I think.
well, here's the funny part. You're gonna get a kick out of this one. Sometimes what you're saying earlier is the unknown unknowns, right? We don't know what we don't know, and when you know something, then you just kind of figure out that oh man, there's more things I don't know. Like the more answers I get, the more questions I have. It's always the case. So it's like an early entrepreneur, right? It's like okay, well, I'm gonna wear this hat. I'm gonna wear that. Hat. You know what? And you should. You know, you should go out there and put on all those hats, and then you should find the team that you can delegate and say, you know what, this hat looks like it fits you pretty well, right? And you know, and find those people that can wear those different hats, and now you got something. You know, I don't know what kind of a team you have over there, John, but
Yeah,
mine,
same.
I have one, but
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
same here, man. For the past 12 to 18 months, after a year ago, I kind of dissolved the brokerage team I had in New York City, because there were some misalignments, which I knew, from the beginning. But I guess, sometimes when you step back and you get a little bad view on that thing, you tend to see things a lot clearer. And I knew that I didn't have to deal with that anymore. I was like, I don't need that headache, especially if that headache it's not worth it and it doesn't align with my values. So I said, thank you very much, and I stepped back. And I knew that, it's funny. I've done real estate investments for past 13 years very successfully. And I knew that even though when I was running the brokerage, training agents, hey, what's up,
this is
man?
my boy.
How
They
you
found me. I don't know how they found me out
how
here.
you doing? doing?
Yeah, and my wife is hiding over here. Come here, honey.
Good.
Okay, my beautiful wife and family here.
Hi, how are
Yeah,
you?
this is John.
Are you guys having fun?
It
Good.
keeps, yeah, you keep going in and out sometimes. It like disappears and comes back,
I
but
hope you
they're
guys I
having
hope you
fun.
guys enjoying.
Okay, love you guys.
Bye, nice to meet you. Bye,
Oh, love you
buddy.
guys. See you, bud. I'll see you out there.
Yeah, so when I have a
That's the best right there.
it's priceless, man. It's really
Yeah,
like it's it's why we do what we do.
it's everything.
It's my boy is 8. My boy is eight and a
Hey,
half.
same age. Yeah,
Same
so
age.
turning 9 in July.
Yeah, my boy's turning 9 in September, so he's a little bit older. Somebody's calling you now again.
I don't know what is going on with this. Can you hear me now? Oh, there you are.
Yes.
Okay, I put my phone on airplane mode, and all of a sudden, somebody else tries to call me because it's on Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
somebody else tries to call me, and boom, it kicks it off again. Yeah, we'll have to figure
You
that
know
one
what you
out, dude.
do? Do not disturb, man. When you do not disturb, then it's not gonna allow the phone call to come through.
Okay, which one is that one over here?
That's like the that's the
Do not disturb. I got it. All
yep.
right,
That's
there
it.
you go. I'm learning. I'm learning.
We always learning, bro. As long as we learning, that's all what matters, man.
That's
You were
right.
saying I feel like the older I get, the dumber I get. It's like I feel like
Smart, dumb, balance, right?
it's like the more I realize there is so much which I don't know. It's amazing, right? And that's something I really love that about life. It's like the endless opportunities for me to learn stuff, and have like different experiences and meet different people and all that jazz. It's just making your life more entertaining and exciting, to live. I get bored real quick. I can't stand on a place for too long, you know. But when I step back from the real estate, it really gave me an opportunity to realize that what I always was meant to do, bigger things in real estate. And so I've been building for the past 12 to 18 months. I've been beefing up my systems and my staff, and really tightening up the things, because like you said, if we're gonna bring it up to you, Danny, and say, Danny, invest with me, even though I've done 25 plus investments successfully and always made money in downturn markets, also when everybody lost everything, and I made money, right? So I'm doing
Doing
something
something right.
something right,
Right.
and I know what I'm doing right, because I'm not betting on the inflation, I'm not betting on the appreciation. I'm betting on myself and my ability to turn this into this, because I know this is worth that, and that's my return, right? But for that to happen, I need to have. It's not me renovating the buildings. It's not me, kicking the tenants out. It's not me, doing the day to day, because we vertically integrated, right? Like, we manage our portfolio. We don't have contractors on payroll, but we have 99 vendors in our list. Anything from electrician and plumbers and lawn people. We have multiple people for multiple assets, right? So The other day, I was changing a hot water tank, right? Something as simple as changing an electric hot water tank, 30 gallons. We got three estimates from three people we working with: 2750, 2550, 1550. Well, guess who did we go with? The 1551, right? But I know, I make money for myself and have been, make money for my family. That's what I live off. It's from a real estate. I don't have money from a real estate sales anymore. It's all from my portfolio. And I have a pretty cool life as well, right? But I make money when I save money on renovation. I make money when I raise the rents. I make money when the tenant doesn't pay me. I kick him out the next week, right? I make money when I make smart decisions based upon facts and data and not based upon emotion. So for the
Hmm.
past 18 months, I've been just basically building the systems up. We just onboarding on a new property management system. We just AI built in. It's fucking incredible, bro. It's unbelievable. It's like it is the next level thing. So all of our systems, I want to don't be average. I don't want to be above average. I want to be like out of this world, right?
Hmm.
Like futuristic service, just like
Yeah.
you. I would
Yeah.
have
You can go
bring
above and beyond.
virtuoso and virtual reality, into my business and incorporate that into my business because I understand where the world is going. I know where is it going. I want to be the first guy who's bringing it into real estate, into property management, into renovations, into value adds, right? So, like you said, to just launch it up, saying, "Hey, invest. It's cool, and I can do it." But when I do it, I want to do it like that is a smooth sail. There is no hiccups, right? Because
Yeah.
one thing I sell to my tenants, my client is my tenant, right? I'm a landlord. And one thing what I sell them, it's their experience of living in my community. That's what I sell, right? Because when they have a sucky experience, meaning like it stinks, there's bad tenants, the neighbors, they like drug addicts, you know what I mean? There's leaky faucet, they want to fix something, but I never get to it. It takes like forever to get it fixed. And then the people they come, they're not professional, they show up late. There's so many little things, right? Like when you're living somewhere. No, I want the opposite. I
Hmm.
I want them to be like they expect this. I want to give them this, right? They expect
Yeah.
that. I want to give them that. But
Above and beyond.
but for me to provide that, I need to have the staff trained well. I need to system tune up. So I've been working on for like 12 months. So I got people like, oh, I want to invest future John. Like, here's my money. Here's my money. He's like, hold on, like, give me a few more months. I'm almost there.
Right.
Like you tuning
Yeah.
it up first. So it's been a
Yeah.
long journey.
Same way. I've turned down money. You know, if people bring it up, I'm like, yeah. As soon as I get that all
Yes.
figured out, I'll be glad to come ask you for it. But
Yeah.
just hold on to it for now for me, would you? Yeah.
I
That's
spoke with a
awesome.
lady yesterday, and she was like, she's great, and I love my investors, or my clients. A lot of them, I have a lot of relationship of real estate, right? Because I used to sell real estate for 21 years. So I know everybody knows me, and I have the personality like you. Like I can go and talk to anybody and everybody. And I spoke with a lady yesterday, Francine, and she's wonderful. She used to be a sales agent on my team as well. I sold her uncle's house like 10 years ago. She was selling it as a FISBO, right? For 800,000 in Whitestone. And I called her up and I was like, is that a two family you're selling?
Mhm.
She's like, yeah, yeah. And as a matter of fact, I got offer on it already, so I don't need you to come. I'm like, hold on, like it's two family house for 800,000. I'm like, don't sign anything. I'm coming,
Mhm.
right? And so I met her, I had conversation with her. And so she inherited his house after her uncle. He needed a lot of work, right? But I knew it was valued if I would help her tweak it a little bit. Just do a paint, stain the cabinets, put a new toilet, like little things, which she didn't want to do, but I had a crew. I knew if I help her to do that, and she would spend maybe 15,000 a renovation, just a little thing to make it look good, she would get like 1.1 to 1.2 million, right? So I told her, please don't sell it to that freaking investor. I know it's all cash, but he's trying to rob you. So I drove to the house.
Mm.
I met her. I had a conversation with her, and I convinced her to do the work. I did the work, and guess what? We sold it for 1.2 million, right? So I put
That's
like
awesome.
over 400,000 more in her pocket. And then a couple years later, she wanted to invest into real estate. So she did, and she got her license. She was working on my team, and she's still on my team. You know what I mean? She still works on my team. And now she wants to invest again into real estate. So I spoke to her the other day, and she was like, please, like, let me invest with you. Like, I have the money. I'm like, no, of course. Like, I gotta let you invest with me. It's just not open, So like, she's hold on to the money. She's not putting into anything, so she can invest with me.
I really love that business model. Actually, what you were just saying, like with here's this person has this house. It's kind of too cheap, and you could go potentially buy this house, flip it for that, do all that stuff. But you know what? There's a huge opportunity in there to just help somebody do it,
Yeah,
improve that property, do these little fixes, pay me later.
that's
Like
right.
here's the guy, I have the contractors, I have the whatever, a simple contract to, if this improves value, if this adds value, then, value add, value given somewhere,
You know,
that's it. What
for
a great
for
opportunity.
for me, then I've done this for years, right? And there are people. I used to do flips, right, as well. I invested into small projects, big projects, new developments, whatever. But I felt awful. I would never take advantage of someone. Like, you have these wholesalers which they buy the home from older lady, because she has
Hmm.
no clue, and they buy it for 500,000, and they flip
Yeah.
the contract to someone for 1 million, and they put 100,000 on top. Like, to me, that's a robbery. Like, I wouldn't
It
be able to
is.
see it myself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I would rather like help that person, sell it at 1 million, and help them maybe fix it up so they can get 1 mil, and help them get across the finish line. I
Hmm.
think that's a lot more ethical
Yeah.
and right thing to do.
I
you
like
know
that. I
if
like that
that
a
makes
lot.
sense, because I think
Oh, totally.
a lot of
Yeah.
people don't care today what makes sense. Like,
No,
they
no, no. They're trying to get theirs. It's when you stop trying to get yours and you try to help other people get theirs that all of a sudden everybody wins, and some magic happens out there in the world too. So that is something that takes time, takes experience, takes whatever to kind of get to that point. And for me, it was having a kid. All of a sudden I wasn't the most important thing in the world, and now he was, and so I do everything for him. And so that's all of a sudden became another
Mm,
person. And then, recently it's like, how can I help other people? And, in fact, my partner and I kind of came up with the phrase, what are your goals? How can I help? It was, pretty simple.
I
And then we've
love it.
kind of been working on it, trying to tweak it a little, because it's like, look, I can't help everybody. I can't, like, you got an idea, you want to take it to the next level. I can tell you that the next level is take action on it, right? It's actually do something about it, right? But I can't do it for you. There's that problem, but yeah, in that situation there, I went through a very similar situation. My and because it was an estate thing, but yeah, there was this property that was owned by my grandmother that the estate just liquidated it,
Hmm.
right? And I certainly didn't win in this scenario here. They sold it to somebody for 385,000 or something, first offer. So there's a great opportunity if you could get them to give it to you. But anyways, yeah, they screwed me. They actually weren't working for me. They weren't trying to help me or anything over here, and that lost a lot of respect for them. That's one of the reasons I'm not going to be with Wells Fargo. But yeah, that happened 10 plus years ago, and sold a 500 plus $1,000 property for 300 and something thousand. Um, how were they weren't working for me, so who is working for you, right? Like, who is working for that family who just lost their loved one, right? Like, who is there working for them that actually isn't predatory, is actually trying to help them, and in that, make friends for life. There you go, you just said it.
Yeah, for
So
life.
yeah, there's a great opportunity there
Yeah, and I think
to
that
help people.
that's the real opportunity, right? Like making that connection where you can actually count on that person if you need to,
Right.
right? Like I know I can call Francine at 2 a.m. dying, call, hey, I'm here, and she will come to my rescue. You know what I mean? But it's not given, right? And we
Yeah.
don't realize that we need people in moments like that because they might happen.
So, so the thing is, though, if somebody showed up and knocked on my door and told me they were there to help me like that, I would be, I'd have the little chain on the door, so to speak, right? I'm like, I don't know who you are. So how do you build that trust, that rapport, that relationship? It's by proving it. Obviously, it's like,
Yep.
hey, look, you don't have to believe me, but you can go, talk to Francine over here, and she can tell you. And hey, Francine, I helped do this thing, and here's my team. I suppose there's one of those makeover shows there, but anyways, it's how do you trust people? That is the big thing, like
Yeah.
building that relationship, that trust. Like, why should anybody believe me that I'm not just everybody else. Well, I'll prove it, right? Okay, fine. like, and then if you were paying attention, I proved it quite a few times. I've done it. I've done it over. Like, everybody who knows me knows like who I am. But if you don't know me, you have no idea. And trusting people is so tough. And that's why, like what you're talking about in New York City, nobody's talking to anybody. Like, how do you trust that random stranger over here? And you probably shouldn't,
Hmm.
because there's scary people out there in the world. There are a lot of them.
Yeah, but I think
There's a lot of
said
good people
trust
too.
trust is everything, man.
It is.
You
Trust is
know.
earned. Trust comes with relationships,
Yep.
right? Trust comes with years of
By
proving
proving
it.
yourself.
I'm never gonna stop proving it. That's
Yep.
it. Done. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, somebody came and they're like, "Oh, give me a contract for, a percentage of your house, and I'm going to give you the world." A, what proof do you have that you have done that before? So, but yeah, I mean, I love what you just said, by the way, and I really want to dive further into that,
Yeah.
with you. And have you done that with other people too?
Yeah. I've done it. I've done it with
Love that.
all people I met.
Good for
So
you.
my thing is I think a lot of it, like you said it right. It's having the right parents or grandparents or mentors in your life which they give you the right blueprint. So my
Yeah.
grandpa was a partisan in the Second World War, right? And every weekend my mom, she would drop me and my brother to her grandparents, so we couldn't lie. Okay, there was one of the things that were really strict. Okay, we couldn't lie, we couldn't talk back. We wake up at 5 a.m. We would have a breakfast and we would go to work as little kids, and we would work on the garden, cutting a grass, picking up a corn, like whatever that is. It was an army style, right? But we couldn't lie, we couldn't make shit up, we couldn't do certain things, right? Because that was the way it was. So I
Mm,
think the parents and grandparents, they give you a really good base, and then when you go in your life, you make a lot of mistakes, right? But when you grow up, you're gonna look back and you're gonna reflect on that blueprint you have, right? And that's gonna come up, and then you gotta make a decision, right? What kind of a human being you want to be?
right. Choice.
You want to be the hero or you want to be
The villain.
the villain, right? Like I'm the hero. I told that
Yeah.
to my son every day. I said, listen, we are the heroes.
Yep.
We are the good guys. We do the good things. This
Yep.
is what we do. You know what I mean? And that's something you have to make a choice with. And
Choice.
I know those people, they love to be villains. There's people who don't care. There's a lot of people which and that's cool. I respect that. I don't agree with it, but I respect that because that's their life. But my decision is to be on the good guy side.
Yeah.
That's
That's
where
it.
I
That's all
play.
it is.
You
It's a
know,
choice.
it's a
Yeah.
choice.
If you're gonna be a villain, by all means, son, you better go out there and be the best villain you can be, because the heroes are coming after you, buddy.
That's right.
You know. Yeah. I'm like, I told my son many times. I'm like, I'm not gonna support that. If you're gonna be mean to other kids or what, told somebody the other day, give me the water. Like very demanding with something. My wife was telling me, and he had my wife crying the other day. Actually, I got a great dad story, and my son said he wanted to call the police because it was child abuse, what I did, and I'd love to share it because it's that nonsense level.
Yeah.
If you want it, I'll give it to you. But yeah, it's exactly that. He's making his mom cry. He wants the iPad. He's demanding it. He was just rude to somebody at school for no reason. And just be a better human. I'm constantly trying to teach him to be a better human. And but anyways, I was abused as a child. So I'll say that I have actual child abuse in my past. This was not that. So I gathered up all the spoons and spatulas and all of that utensils that were used on me when I was a kid. And when my son got home from school, I said, "Let's go for a ride," and took him in a side by side out back of my ranch, and gave him a bottle of water and told him to walk home. Okay,
Oh, okay.
and I didn't think that was very abusive. And then I waited halfway. I was hearing some sounds, and I thought, he's screaming, walking back to the ranch. 8 years old. I dropped him off in the middle of nowhere. I asked him if he wanted to take a left or a right to get there, so I could have gone somewhere else. He actually took the shortest path, which was probably not a bad idea. But anyways, we waited for him, and then I said, "Have you changed your attitude? Like, have you thought about it? Can you tell me, whatever, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of demanding. He threw something at that point and whatever else. Anyways, I said, "All right, well, he wanted to ride back to the house. He said we were trying to kill him, okay, you know, by having him take a walk down a road that's only behind our ranch." But anyways, we go a little further down the road. He's begging and pleading for a ride home. I said, "All right, well, I can give you a spanking, or you can walk." Okay, and he chose the spanking. He made the choice, right? I spanked him, gave him knuckles, shook his hand, gave him a hug, and gave him a ride home. And the next day, he said that he was thinking about calling the police, that was child abuse. And I'm like, "Kid, you have no idea what child abuse is." But I did, I mean, I'll admit somewhere in there, I was very upset that he wasn't going to call the police. And the next day, I reminded him that, you know what, you go to Trinity Lutheran School, he goes to Catholic Sunday School also. There is a support base here. There's that guy you can call father over there too, I guess. So
Mm-hmm.
if you feel like that's the route you want to go, I said, you have a principal at school, you have your teachers, you have the priest or whatever, whoever you feel that is, you have that, and then the police are there too, and so I'm like, the most abusive thing I said basically in there was, that here, call the police, right? I said, but if they come and they want you to go find the new family, I said, I'll give you my number, and I said, someday if you want to be friends and you figure it out, I guess you can call me. But I'm like, that was abusive. To me, that was the most abusive thing that I said in there, because really, I just want to hug the freaking kid and squeeze him, that little guy that stopped by. But yeah, the next day I told him, I go, you have that support group if you need it, and I feel really bad that there are kids out there that don't feel like they have
They
any other
don't.
place to go.
Yeah.
That's sad. And you do. It's there. If you need the police, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe start here. Go talk to your principal. Go find your support group, find your friend group. And I'm here, buddy. I'm here. I am that, but I can't let you abuse your mother. I can't let you abuse other people. And somewhere in there, you got to wake up. You got to learn. You got to figure it out. But 8 years old is a little tough. I put a lot on him at 8. His little brain's not fully together yet. Top and bottom and left and right there. But
Mhm. It's a fun age.
he's
It's
way
a fun
above
age.
me.
It's a fun age, though. You know.
It is. I don't know what I was like at that age. I don't know what you were like, but like I feel like I was just a complete idiot. And this kid is like way, way, way above my pay grade at that age. He's so much smarter than I. It's amazing stuff. It's amazing.
Listen, Danny. I know we're coming to the end. You know, we took way longer than I took it from you. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate
You
you.
taking the time, being on vacation, and definitely, I think we got to continue on this. But where can people find you if they need to reach you? What's the best way?
Well, I don't want to blow up the email there. So why don't we say profit funding? PROPHET funding at gmail.com. You can send me an email there. The reason it's profit funding is because I believe it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you put energy into something, if you put money into something, in my case, I put time into things as well, and I put energy, and a lot of love goes into that soup. But yeah, so I mean that's why it's profit funding, PROPHET funding at Gmail.
I love it. And what's one capital truth you live by?
Capital truth. Is that like subjective truths?
Yep.
Because yeah,
Objective,
capital
subjective,
truth.
don't matter.
Yeah.
What do you live by?
Um,
What's your thing?
integrity, honesty. I'm honest to a fault. That's my problem all the time. In fact, I'll tell you, my wife says my only problem is I don't have a problem. So I went out there looking for one. So I went out there, to find problems, and help other people with their problems. So yeah, honesty. I
Hmm.
believe in being that person. And you talked about the hero. So I'm flawed in every way, shape, or form. I'm no different than you, and everybody here. We're all alike. I think that us us dudes, should stick together. Broness. I just bought that domain name, broness.com, BRONESS.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we got to get together, man. Like we got to bring that broness. So maybe I'll be Danny at broness.com here next.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it, bro.
I got enough emails, but
Sounds good, bro. Well, listen, it was
appreciate you.
great. It was great seeing you. I love hanging out with you as always. Thank you for the time.